Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP Envy laptop model 17-CE1035CL. It's down there, super tiny. Alright, so we're going to be using, I believe, a T5 and a JS1 screwdriver to do this. So let's go ahead and get these little rubber feet off. So I'm just going to get in there with my fingernail. You can use whatever that works for you, plastic pry tools or whatnot. Alright, we're going to peel this off. Make sure you're peeling up the adhesive layer as well. Okay. Not just the rubber piece. So there we go. Then we're going to get this one out as well. Okay, and peel that up. Okay, there we go. Alright, keep these things in order because even the rubber pieces are different size sometimes. They're like different thicknesses. Alright, so somehow a screw is missing from here. I don't know how that's possible. I don't see it stuck to the rubber piece. But anyways, we're going to use the JS1 screwdriver and we'll get these screws out. It looks like they had some liquid here, but what's going on is their power button's not working. Keep the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. I do that by keeping them flat side down like this. In the pattern I remove them, so we got 4 screws back here, and then it looks like there should be 4 screws here, but there's only 3. So, okay. Alright. Hopefully this will be a somewhat quick fix, or at least quick check. The power button got sunk in, so we need to see if it's replaceable or if it's part of the motherboard. All right. Okay, so we got all those pieces out. We're going to switch over to the T5. Sometimes it's a T6, but I think this, yeah, it's T5. All right, so we got 1 screw down here. Okay, we got 1 screw here. Again, keep them all in order. The ones on these sides are super long. Okay. Alright, and there we go. We got all the screws out, I think. Alright, so next thing we gotta do is pop this bottom cover off. We're gonna slowly, carefully open up the laptop. I'll get my fingernails in this gap here, and then I'll push with my thumb to try and pop this off. Let's see if it'll do it. Okay, nope, this is actually... Okay, this cover is probably going to be very difficult to get off. Let's see. Can I somehow go from this side? I'm probably going to have to use my thin metal pry tool here. Let's see if I can pull from here. No. I did feel like there was somewhat of a gap forming here, but it's not going to come out easily. So we're going to try and get this thin tool in there and see if we can pop that up. Okay, that worked. Work our way down the sides. Okay. Yeah, this cover is super tough to remove. We're gonna go and work our way up this edge here. So now that we got kind of a gap, just follow that gap. Actually, the back is coming out pretty easily. Okay, so usually if that's the case, you can kind of bend it to where it curls in like that, so that way it pulls the clips from the sides in. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, I'm pulling this inwards as well, and it does seem to be working. I'm gonna go to this side and do the same. Push it in towards the center, kind of pulling up. Okay, that's kind of working. Oh, this one's a CD drive spot, so I don't think that's going to come out easily. It's something is holding it there. Okay, and I don't think, yeah, the keyboard won't come out first. So we are going to continue going down this side since that's the side that's actually popping out. Sometimes it helps to kind of wiggle it, push and pull, to try and get the clips to go out the other way. Wow, these clips are really strong. Okay, push it in towards the center more. Pull it up. Okay, looks like the middle clips are releasing, but this one's not. Okay, you can see it's kind of, oh, there we go, it's unclipping. Then hopefully we can grab and wiggle this and get this to release, but it's looking like it's being a pain. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, this one is very difficult to remove these clips. Continue working our way up here. Trying to wiggle it and pull it in a way that will unclip. This side has some hooks clipped here, it seems. Come on. Oh, give me a second. I'm getting a call. Hold on, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Let's go ahead and pop the CD drive out just to kind of get it out of the way a little bit. And oh, actually they're hiding a screw under here. Are you serious? Okay, good thing I popped that out. So this is a JAS1 screw. Wow, hiding screws in there. Okay, let's see if we can pop this out easily now. You can see now we can kind of get this out a lot easier. It is still stuck down here, so you do gotta kind of pull it and work at it. The CD drive is going to be kind of getting in the way now, but let's see, kind of pull this and wiggle it, and there we go. Okay, so we got that out. Let's see, what do we got next? So the power button, I think is it right there? If that's the case, this will be a somewhat easy fix. Oh no, it's on this side. Okay, so the power button is underneath the motherboard here, so I might have to stop this repair for now and then continue in a bit because this is going to take a while. But anyways, let me go ahead now and at least disconnect the battery. So we're going to use the JS1 screwdriver and remove all the screws holding the battery in place. Okay, so I got one here, one here, one here. Okay, one more over here. It looks like there's M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD there. Alright, we got two more screws holding the battery in. One at this bottom side and one at this bottom side. Okay, again, make sure you're keeping all the screws in order. Alright, and we're going to just lift this out and pull it up. And there you go. Battery model number is right there. LK03XL. Okay, so yeah, this one is going to require like complete disassembly. So I don't know if the power button is also broken in there or what's going on. Like, why is it, how did the power button just get shoved into that hole? Somehow this thing fell all the way in there. So yeah, we'll see. All right, anyways, I'll be back with this one. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. Let's go ahead and continue seeing how difficult it is to take this whole thing apart. We're going to take the CD drive out, or optical disk drive. One screw. Pop that out, and hopefully, yep, we can slide this out. Be careful with the cable there. All right, we're going to close that up for now. We will have to open it back up. Keep that in mind. All right. All right, let's see. You got a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. The optical disk drive you can replace with a hard drive adapter. This is the 9mm, or I'm not sure how thick this is, like 9mm or 9.5mm, something like that. The thicker ones are 12.7, and it's the regular SATA, or it's a special SATA connector. All right, we're gonna remove the hard drive. I don't have much room to work here because there's too many components here I'm going to be taking out. We'll flip this latch up. We can grab this blue tab and pull it up slightly, pull it back, and we got that out. Then we're going to get the hard drive out. Let's see, how does it sit in here? This looks tough to remove. Okay, there's a tab here that I'm guessing is supposed to be to lift up, but yeah, it's not really coming out. So we're just gonna, okay, I got my finger here and I used my thumb to kind of pull it up that way, and there we go. 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. There's this tape over the connector. You'd have to peel that out to pull this connector off, and then you can transfer this rubber piece over, but I'm going to leave that in place. Basically, you pulled it to the sides and it'll come out. Okay, fingerprint sensor, right? Is that a thing? What is this? No, this is like the camera on-off switch here. I'm surprised it needs a whole board just for that. It goes all the way to there. Keyboard touchpad, trackpad connector here. I'm going to actually flip these latches to get them out. So just use your fingernail and flick it straight up. Keyboard connector here, and then the keyboard backlight connector here. Usually when I go to work on these things, I want to press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds after disconnecting the battery, but because the power button's broken, I have no option. I can't do that. So hopefully nothing is going to break by doing this. Okay, we're going to lift up slightly here and try and pull this connector out. This is the keyboard backlight connector. Keyboard connector here, lift it up slightly, pull that back. All right, we've got the camera on-off button or switch here. Touchpad, trackpad connector here. All right, so we got all of those out. We got this little cable here This one is for the fingerprint sensor, it looks like. All right, so flip that latch up and then pull it up slightly and pull it back. Be very careful. These cables are all very fragile. Okay, you got the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here, one screw. Get that out, pops up, and then we should be able to pull this back, but there's some adhesive there, so it might be a little struggle, but there we go. Oh, I guess the adhesive will stay there on its own, but there's the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. Should be fine upgrading to any M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. All right, then we got the RAM under here. Usually I'll just use my fingernail to get underneath the edge of this metal plate, go on both sides, and then be careful with the components on the motherboard that you don't accidentally pry those up. Works best using your fingernails because you can feel what you're prying up. We'll wiggle this out, flip that over. Oh, they're only using one slot. All right, we'll pull these two tabs to the side, pops up like that. This is a 16 gig PC4 2666V, so you can put another 16 gig PC4 2666V stick of RAM to have 32 gigs total. I don't know if they make 32 gig sticks, but if they do, then you can actually upgrade to 64 gigs, all right? Anyways, line up the metal thing with the little clips again, and then just push it back down. Just like that. Okay, let's continue working our way around. We got the wireless card here. We're gonna just pop the antennas up by pulling on the tail straight up. Okay, just like this, and just like this. Usually I try and avoid removing the antennas because sometimes the wireless cards are not soldered well here, and then those connectors break off. These are labeled 1 and 2, so 1 goes to the white one and then 2 goes to the black one. They actually put a white sticker for that one and a black sticker for the one that goes to the black arrow. Okay, one screw here. I don't know if I actually have to remove this from the motherboard. Probably not. Yeah, I don't think I have to remove this from the motherboard, so I'm going to leave that on because they put some adhesive holding it, and I don't want to take it out if I don't have to. Okay. You got the speaker. There's a speaker connector there. So to remove that, I use my fingernails at the wings of the connector and just wiggle it to pull it out. Okay. LCD, LVDS connectors right here. Flip that latch up again carefully with your fingernail, and then we can go ahead and pull this connector slightly up and out. Just like this. There we go. And we'll move that out of the way. Okay, what else do we got? We got the connector here for this USB board, so we're going to flip that latch up, pull that out. We got this connector here. It says for the camera, so yep, then we'll pull that up slightly and back. There we go. Okay, so we're not going to be taking all this stuff out. You also have the DC jack charge port here, and that cable is running along. It looks like it goes underneath the motherboard here. I don't know why they wanted to make it so difficult to get to. That's one of the more commonly damaged parts that need to be replaced. Okay, we also got the fan connector here. Again, I'll use my fingernails, wiggle that. Just keep wiggling it, and it should eventually pop out. There we go. Okay, let's get the 2 screws for the fan out, and then take that fan out. This one here, and this one here. Okay, so we got those 2. Then we can go ahead and get the fan up and out. So you have to go from this way and then slide it out because this part sticks underneath the heatsink. Okay, do we got any screws for the motherboard hidden here? So far, no. Okay, we have 1 screw down here. All right, so we're gonna have to remove all the motherboard screws, keep them all in order. Okay, we've got another one down here. If you want, you can use a marker to mark it. They actually have little arrows pointing at it, but that could sometimes be confusing. Okay, so we got those 2. Then we got these 2 here. We're going to remove. It looks like these 2, it looks like this board actually connects to the motherboard with a push-in connector. We'll see when we get all these screws out. Okay, we got those 2 out. There's one more up here. Okay, so that one, so we removed the 3 right there. Got another one up here. And one all the way up here. Oops, sorry, you can't even see. One all the way up there. Okay. It's a lot of screws. Okay, am I missing anything? It looks like it's lifting, so hopefully that was all of them. We can actually remove this screw down here as well. That way the whole board will come out without us having to release the other thing. Okay, let's zoom out here and then let's see if we can just lift this whole board out or not. Okay, I think you can see the whole motherboard now. The lighting's kind of not too great, but okay. Yep, this board's coming up as well. So we're going to carefully wiggle and pull this up. Oh, that's the other thing. The DC jack charge port, because it's caught under here, we are going to have to get this out. Okay, so I'm going to untuck this charge port connector from this little groove there. Just like that. And then I can go ahead and grab this connector here. I'm going to hold the motherboard and I'm going to just wiggle and pull it, and there we go. Okay. Carefully continue lifting this up. Hopefully nothing is getting caught and stuck on it. Okay, I'm going to grab over here to hold it easier. Kind of wiggle it as I kind of pull. Are we missing any screws here? Doesn't seem like it. I think maybe just the wiring's getting caught on it somewhere. I'm going to continue carefully pulling this up. Carefully, carefully. Okay, why is it stuck here? Okay, continue lifting it up until it goes at an angle here, and then we can get it out. There we go. Alright, so this is what it looks like. The power button is actually just right there. It should be fine. I don't know how this got shoved in there, but it did. So here's the motherboard. Not really anything on the back to look at. Okay, just these little things here. Motherboard information, I guess. Okay, so we got that. Now we gotta see what's going on with the power button there. Give me a second, I need to put this on some anti-static ESD bag or something. So let me grab something here. Okay, I got one. I'll set the motherboard aside. Okay, give me a second. Uh-oh, I'm getting messages I'm not responding to. Okay. Alright, so we got to figure out why this power button is up like that. So there we go. I was able to shove it back down. The problem is it's like twisting itself because of whatever they did. It's like now it's completely twisted like that permanently. But I think that might work. Okay. So I'm going to now get the motherboard back in. This is going to be a little bit tricky to do because all these connectors everywhere, but that's all we gotta do now. Put this back together. Okay, so we'll get this lined up. Oh, and if you're wondering, this connector, if I kind of wiggle it and pull it, you should be able to separate it. But yeah, so there you go. It's connected with that little connector there onto this connector here. Okay, so if you go to put it back, just make sure to center everything right and push it down properly. Okay. All right. There we go. Click that back in. Okay, so we're gonna now get this back in. We do have to go in at an angle like this. Okay. And then we got to get all these cables out of the way. Okay, slowly lowering it down. There are all these cables we have to worry about that need to end up back on top of the motherboard. So make sure to keep an eye on all of them. Okay, make sure all these like raised posts end up back in the right spot. Okay, get these cables all back on top. Slowly, slowly lowering it down. Okay, and then the DC jack charge port connector, we need to plug this back in before we drop it down. Make sure you have it where the solid plastic part is face up. You don't want the metal pin part facing up, otherwise you're plugging it in backwards. Okay, so this will be a little tough. You kind of have to look from the side. Okay, I'm actually going to take this cable out because it's in my way. So unlatch that and take that out. Okay. Then got to kind of lift this up. line it up, and get that back in. Man, why did they make this thing like this? Okay, get that in. Make sure it's all lined up and push that in all the way. Okay, it's annoying because it's hard to even tell if you got it pushed in all the way. So I'm going to try and do it sideways here and take a look. And I think it's all the way in. Yeah, looks like it's all the way in. Okay, so now we just got to drop this down. Again, make sure all the connectors that need to be on top are on top. Get this cabling all lined back in. This one back in as well. Push that down in there. Good. Alright, then we'll get this cable in. Sorry, I know it's like, let me see if I can zoom in to kind of show this, and I'll maybe just hold it off the table. Get this cable back in, make sure the latch is up. Slide your finger over the top to latch it down. Make sure that's up. Get the cable in, slide your finger over the top to latch it down. Okay, go over here, make sure this latches up. Get it in. Okay. Make sure it's all the way in. Slide your finger over the top to latch it down. Perfect. Alright, LCD LVDS cable. Make sure it's up. Okay. I'm going to turn it sideways because it's hard to work at it on it at this weird angle. Okay. Pull that back. Oh, this is going to be tough. Come on. Get in. There we go. Alright, slide your finger over the top to latch it down. It's very important that when you latch these things down, you don't flick it over too hard. Okay, get that lined up. Same thing with this. Make sure the exposed pins are face up on this one. Pinch that in. Wireless antennas, line it up. Make sure it like hooks onto there, and then you can go ahead and click it down. You'll know it hooks on because if you're like trying to tug at it when it's in the right spot, it won't move. Then you can go ahead and push it down. Okay, what else? We got the fingerprint sensor thing here. Okay, get that in. It's difficult because you have to kind of raise the back up slightly to get it in. And slide your finger over to latch it down. Okay, uh-oh, these cables went underneath. Get these back out. Okay. Lift that latch. That in, okay, and push that down. Okay, same thing with this one. Get that in, latch that down. Hopefully none of these cables are, or hopefully the power button wasn't damaged from when that happened. But get that in and latch that down. Get that in and latch that down. Okay, we got the hard drive here. Hopefully you guys were able to see everything. So this, it just kind of like drops into place, I think. I don't think there's a special way to kind of get this in. Just make sure the rubber is all intact, and then go all the way around and just push it all down. Okay, make sure that latches up. Same thing, line it up. Get that in, make sure it's in all the way. Slide your finger over to latch it down. Alright, we got the, get this stuff out of the way. M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. Get this out of the way. Go in at an angle. Okay, push it in all the way. Push this down. And screw that into place. Okay. You can go ahead and put this piece down. Alright, so let's start getting all these screws back in. So we had this one screw here, right there. Okay, then we got the two screws to the side holding that board connector in place. Here and there. Then we got one screw here holding this motherboard down into place. Okay, then we got this one towards the middle of the motherboard. Got this one all the way at the top of the motherboard. Uh-oh. Okay, then we're gonna work our way over. We had two more. I think it was these two. Okay, with the arrows. That one and this one. Alright, then we got the fan. Let's get that back in there. The fan goes there. Again, this one has the exposed pins facing up. Alright, pinch that into place. And then you got to go in at an angle to get that in. Get these two screws back in. That one and this one. Alright, we'll get this all the way down and this all the way down. Okay, let's zoom out a bit more. Let's get the optical disc drive in. We will have to pop the thing back out. We'll slide this in, make sure this cable goes on top. Good. Okay, get this screw back in. Okay, let's pop the CD drive, optical disc drive back out. You just use like a little needle or folded out paper clip there. Okay, we got to get the battery back in. Okay, so batteries down here. Line this all up, the screw holes. Okay. It has little raised things there to help. And then push that down. Make sure it's in all the way. And let's get all these screws in. I think I'm getting calls and messages. Oh no. Give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Let's go ahead and get all these battery screws back into place. And then hopefully the power button is aligned properly that it will work. Because that plastic piece, I don't know, they give it too much wiggle room. Not a good design. Alright. So yeah. Okay. Last battery screw. The customer was like, no, don't fix it, just give an estimate. But I mean, why would I take the whole motherboard out and then just put it back together knowing I could easily fix it that way? So I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this back together. Oops, you don't need to see that far out. Okay, line this back up, click everything back in. Okay. Okay, there we go. Clip the middle clips back in. Oh, I don't think I got a thumbnail. Too late. I don't want to take it apart again. Put that screw back in, because that bottom cover was a pain to get off. Alright. Then we'll get all these screws back in and we should be good to go. So, get this in. Assuming I didn't miss any of the cables. I think I got them all. I probably should have done one quick look around, but well, the customer told me like they want to wait to see if the insurance will cover it, so we'll see how that goes. It's kind of a bad design, so I don't know. This laptop, the way they designed that power button is not good. Last few screws, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't, hopefully my other videos will be useful or entertaining to you, because if you watch other ones, YouTube really likes to see that. And then it tells the algorithm to share my videos more. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. We're just going to put the rubber covers, rubber pieces back in, see if pushing the power button works. It definitely shouldn't be sticking out, I mean, underneath the cover now. But the problem is whether it will just push back underneath the cover. Okay, so line that all up. Usually I'll like work my way up one side and then go to the center, because you can see it creates this extra rubber since it's stretched a little. But there we go. And then the last one. Get that in. And yeah, I don't know why one screw is missing there. That's kind of weird. Okay, get that lined up, good. Work our way over. Okay, and there we go. All right, so let's flip this over. Let's see if it powers on. Oh, the power button light is on already for some reason. It sounds like it's turning itself on. Does this computer turn itself on when you open the lid? Okay. Oh, also, if you're wondering, there was no CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. It uses the main battery as the CMOS battery. Oh, for some reason, this light's turned itself off. Let's try pushing it. What is happening over there? Oh yeah, the plastic is not lined up right, so it doesn't really push that button, as you can see. So even when we push the button, it's not working. Or I think what it is the plastic is too bent here to where it's permanently pushing the button, and then that's causing it turned itself off, I think. But there's no way for me to stop that. Okay, so the light, you can see the power button light turned itself on. Okay, so the computer hopefully should be turning back on. It's gonna say the BIOS was reset or something, and then okay, it shut itself back off. Yeah, I have a feeling the button is like stuck pressed in too far, so I'm not too sure how I will end up fixing that. I think I'll have to replace this. At the very least, I'll have to replace the keyboard assembly that holds that button, because I don't think they sell just this little piece there. So I'm trying to pry the button up away from there. Yeah, okay. You can see pushing the power button doesn't do anything. I think it's like the button is permanently stuck on the like pushing down into the motherboard. Yeah. So I don't think we can get this to go. Alright, anyways, well, I got it out from the hole, but it looks like it's still having some issues, so we probably have to replace that. If anything, you can probably even just cut this piece, like, or rip that piece completely out, and then you can push the physical button in there, but then you need something to cover it so dirt and dust doesn't go in. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Strap this. Bye.